and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Sports Talk with Austin, your daily dose of sports and entertainment. And this week, it's officially week 10 of the college football season, and you know what that means. Every time this week, this time this year, it's time for the AP Top 25 and give my thoughts and reactions on this week's poll, tell you where I think they went right, where they went wrong, and give you all the breakdowns downs, and this will be the official last time that anyone will look at this poll as the most important poll because we have the college football CFP rankings coming out Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. So the AP poll going forward won't be looked at hardly regard as regarded as highly as it has been for 10 weeks now. But with all that being said, let's look at week 10 and let's see where they put them before the first CFP rankings. Starting at number one, no shock, is still the Georgia Bulldogs. They're still holding at number one, no Brock Bowers, coming off of a massive win over Florida at the world's largest cocktail party in Jacksonville. Everyone, including myself, thought that Florida would be a competitive game, especially with no Brock Bowers. But give credit to Lad McConkey, the Georgia wide receivers. They stepped up. Carson Beck showed that he was not a fraud and that Georgia could play with the best of them. And they remain unbeaten. And after the performance they put on yesterday, I think Saturday, I think Georgia might be the undisputed number one team. But here's the team who may have something to say about that, and that's at number two. You got the Michigan Wolverines, who were on a bye week this week. They've got all the stuff going on about the sign stealing scandals. Are they paying people? Jim Harbaugh's getting a lot of the raft. But up to this point in this season, Michigan has looked like one of the more complete teams in college football. Defenses are not giving up very many points. J.J. McCarthy is putting up a Heisman campaign. Michigan, a lot of people have been making arguments that they could be number one. Well, Georgia, after what they've done against Florida and Kentucky, I think they still stake their claim as the best. And coming in at number three, you got the Ohio State Buckeyes, who may have the best resume coming into this week. And Ohio State coming off a 24-10 win over the Wisconsin Badgers in Madison. Kyle McCord threw two picks in that game. Didn't look his best, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is doing his thing in Ohio State. Wasn't an impressive win as far as style points, but they got it done and they got credited for it, and they're number three in this week's AP poll. And then you got number four, Florida State, who did get more of some style points as a 41-16 victory over Wake Forest, the Demon Dinkins. Jordan Travis, the offense, everything looked like it was clicking Saturday for the Noles, and they look like they may be the best team in the ACC, maybe even the best team in college football. They certainly have a great case for it, and they just keep getting better and better. And we shall see where they are ranked in the first poll. But they are number four in the AP. At number five, you've got the Washington Huskies, who once again survive a thriller 42-33 over the Stanford Cardinals. And once again, Washington, 2 straight weeks in a row, they played their competition way too close. Last week it was Arizona State 15-7. This week 42-33 over Stanford. I get it, last week may have been a hangover win from Oregon. You're celebrating all that, but you can't be doing this 2 weeks in a row, Washington, especially if you expect to compete at the top of the college football landscape. But you got it done, though. And, the committee didn't knock you down for it, so consider yourself very lucky. And Washington's at five. At number six, you've got the Oregon Ducks, who absolutely are coming off a 35-6 obliteration and Rice Eccles over the Utah Utes. Granted, without Cam Rising, don't mean to put any asterisks on the win, but with the Oregon Ducks was nothing short of fantastic. They went into Rice Eccles, into their longest home winning streak in front of a sold out crowd and beat a top 15 opponent in Utah. Tall Bo Nix looked like a Heisman candidate. The defense played absolutely the best football that they've that they played this year. Dan Lanning, Oregon looks like a prime contender to meet Washington again for the Pac-12 championship. Should be very interesting. But they got him at number 6 after a dominating performance in Rice Eccles. At number 7, you got the Texas Longhorns coming off of a 35 to 6 win over, 35 to 6 35 to 12, win over BYU with backup Malik Murphy filling in for the injured Quentin Ewers. And Texas, we thought maybe there'd be some struggles against BYU. It was at home, but Malik Murphy looked comfortable. The offense got the run game going, didn't turn the ball over, and they were able to throttle BYU from the beginning, and it was never close. Close, close in Texas, looking like one of the best teams in the Big 12 next to maybe Oklahoma, which we'll get to them in just a second. But Texas is 7. At number 8, you got Alabama, who are coming off of a bye week. Alabama coming off of a bye week this week. They had the great win over Tennessee 34-20 2 weeks previous. Alabama looks like they found their offense. The defense playing some of their best football. Currently unbeaten within the division of the SEC West. Currently hold the driver's seat. See, they got a big showdown Saturday against LSU at home. That's going to decide a lot of things. But Alabama at 8, they're much improved and they're playing good football. Alabama at number 8. Coming in at number 9, you got the Penn State Nittany Lions, who survived a scare at Happy Valley against the Indiana Hoosiers as they beat Indiana 33-24. And Indiana played Penn State really tough, but the Nittany Lions made the plays when they needed to and came through and got the W. But Penn State, you're playing Indiana's and the Northwestern's way too close, and especially with the date with Michigan coming up around the corner in a couple weeks, you got to get that fixed, especially if you want to contend for a CFP spot. But at number 9, you got Penn State. At number 10, you got the Oklahoma Sooners, who were upset this past Saturday in Lawrence, Kansas, as the Jayhawks take down the Oklahoma Sooners 38-33. And the Sooners, Dylan Gabriel, did not have their best game. They turned the ball over too much, and Jason Bean and the Jayhawks lit into the defense. First time all year, we've really seen cracks in the OU defense, but Oklahoma still controls their own destiny with the Bedlam coming up this weekend. They still control their destiny to get to the playoffs, though. But they dropped to number 10 after the loss to Kansas on the road. At number 11, you got the Ole Miss Rebels. Lane Kiffin coming off of a beatdown over Vanderbilt, 26-zip. Ole Miss, their team that's still in contention for the SEC West as well, but they lost to Alabama, so they no longer own the tiebreaker. And many people question, is Ole Miss legit? Well, we're going to find out in a couple weeks. They got Georgia. They own the tiebreaker over LSU, and they're playing some really good football. Jackson Dart, not a lot of people are talking about him for Heisman candidate. I think he should be considered for it the way he's played his best football as of late. But you got Ole Miss at number 11. At number 12, you got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming off of a drubbing 58-7 over the Pitt Panthers. Sam Hartman, Audric Estime, the defense. This was arguably the most complete football game Notre Dame has played all year long, and it showed out there on the field, especially. A lot of people question, would Notre Dame, what would there be their mental state after coming off such a big win against USC, having 2 weeks to preparation? Would they be still hungover? Would the bye week, would they get rusty? They came out and showed why they should be considered as the top 10 team in the nation. Notre Dame at 12. And a team that's familiar with their head coach, Brian Kelly, number 13, LSU, who LSU, after their loss to Florida State opening weekend and lost to Ole Miss, have seemed to find their rhythm again, have seen and seem to find their defense. Defense, say what it is about it, not very good, but the offense has found its rhythm, playing some of the best football that they can at the moment, and they got a big key date with Alabama this weekend. LSU also coming off the bye week. All very interesting, but LSU at 13, and they still control their own destiny, especially with Ole Miss's date with Georgia coming up, so they could still win the West and maybe repeat a little history from last year. But LSU at 13. And then number 14, we've got the Missouri Tigers. Eli Drinkwitz coming off of a bye week, got the Missouri Tigers at 7-1. One, they got a date with Georgia this weekend, the number one team in all of football. Their chance to really shine and prove that, hey, Missouri football's back, that Drinkwitz has got them going in the right direction. Brady Cook, the offense has looked pretty good. Defense has shown bright spots, with some big wins over Kentucky, South Carolina, Kansas State. They seem to be putting things together, and in the process, saved Eli Drinkwitz's job. At number 15, you've got my Louisville Cardinals. Cardinals who are sitting at 7-1 and are tied for second place in the ACC. And here we go. You got Jeff Brom, who many people are talking about as the coach of the year candidate, first year guy, and he's already got Louisville, my team, in contention for possible ACC championships, maybe even a dark horse CFP contender. If we hadn't lost to Pitt, maybe we could still do that. But Jack Plummer played his best football. We're coming off a 23-0 drubbing over Duke. And, the defense is balling out, getting turnovers. Jawar Jordan, making a case that he may be the best running back in the ACC, if not the country. We got everything going right in our direction. Got a big game against Virginia Tech next weekend. Got to keep it rolling. Can't get too cocky too fast. But I'm proud of my guys for being at number 15. Go Cards, everybody. And at number 16, you got the Oregon State Beavers coming off of a loss in the desert against Arizona 27-24, and the Desert does it again. They strike again and take out another Pac-12 team. Oregon State, DJU did not have their best performance this past Saturday. Jonathan Smith has done a great job with Oregon State, but you got to have those wins, especially if you want to be considered for possibly going to the Big 12 or going to the ACC, get considered for a conference, but not just that, get considered for New Year's Six bowls and Pac-12s championships, NY6 bowls. You got to win this game. It's a must-have. And now you're behind the eight ball with two losses. It's not looking good in that respect. But Oregon State still got plenty of season left. They do own the tiebreaker over Utah, so there is that. And they got the matchup with Oregon coming up, so they still have some chance to make up ground. But they got to beat Arizona if they want to prove who they are. And then at number 17, you got the Air Force Falcons, who's coming off of a win over Colorado State on the road. Air Force currently 8-0, maybe has the chance to be the group of five team to make the NY6 Bowl. They're playing some of their best football. They got it going. Air Force at 17. At number 18, you got the Utah Utes who are coming off the 35-6 drubbing, like I said, or like I said before, and Utah, now they sit at 6-2 and sit 4-2 in the Pac-12. And if they want, they still have hopes possibly to make the make a New Year's Six bowl potentially if things fall their way. If all chaos happens, they could possibly make the Pac-12 championship game. They got a date with Washington. They've got a date with UC. They got a date with Colorado coming up, which I know Colorado is a game you got to have. So they got some big chances ahead of them still. But Utah, without Cam Rising, their offense comes and goes. It shows sparks against USC, and then it shows the defense couldn't bail them out against Oregon, but Utah at 18. At number 19, you got the Tennessee Volunteers coming off of a 33-27 win over the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington. Joe Milton, the running game looked really well. Looked like it got back on track, and they got a big road win. Hostile environment, SC Saturday night, and here's Tennessee now. Can they start to put together some wins as they got a date with Georgia also coming up? So a lot of these SEC teams have dates with Georgia coming up, a chance to prove what they are. Tennessee, Joe Milton looked good. They bounced back after the loss to Bama, 34-20 last weekend, as they beat the Kentucky Wildcats on the road. Hopefully, Josh Heupel can maybe get this team to an NY6 bowl. And at number 20, you got the UCLA Bruins, who are coming off of a 28-16 win over the Colorado Buffs over primetime Deion Sanders at home. UCLA did look the prettiest, but they got the job done. They had 4 turnovers in the first half, but their defense, sacked Shador seven times, I do believe, and Shador just never had any time, which UCLA on offense, you know, they switched out multiple quarterbacks till they found the right one. Then they got the running game with Carson Steele going, and UCLA using the big tight end, scoring some touchdowns. UCLA looked like wasn't a pretty win, but UCLA got the win, and they're at number 20 this week. And at number 21, you got the Tulane Green Waves, another team who fell out of the rankings earlier this year now found their way back and could possibly be the group of 5 representative as well over Air Force. It's between them, Air Force, and maybe Fresno State. There's a couple teams that could have an argument for that, but Tulane is definitely one of them. Michael Pratt. Got the Kansas Jayhawks, who are coming off of a big time upset in Lawrence, Kansas, 38-33. Like I said over Oklahoma at home, one of the biggest wins in Lance Leopold's career, and one of the biggest wins in Kansas football program history. And now here they are. If they hadn't lost to Oklahoma State, which Oklahoma State's on a hot momentum roll right now the Pokies are getting it done. But if Kansas hadn't lost to them, we could be possibly talking about them in the Big 12 championship race. But congratulations to Lance Leopold and company for getting it together and getting a big time top ten win on the road. I mean, excuse me, at home and getting it done. Congratulations to all the Kansas Jayhawks fans. And at number 23, you got the James Madison Dukes, who are 8-0. They're still not bowl eligible. They got to wait till next year. But at 8-0, 8-0, they keep playing really well football, not getting discriminated by not being bowl eligible, not getting discriminated by it at all. They're keeping it going, and they're 8-0, and they keep it rolling. And at number 24, you got the USC Trojans. Boy, oh boy, coming off a 50-49 win over Cal. I felt like I was watching a basketball game Saturday. No offense to the USC fans out there, but the defense looked atrocious. It doesn't look very good. And when Cal went for 2, many people questioned, was that the right call? We if they get it, it's a great call. If they don't get it, a lot of questions are brought up like like they are now. But USC holds on. Caleb Williams was able to hold on, get the win. But USC's got a big date with Washington next week at home. Hopefully their defense can be somewhat improved because it was not improved at all. And maybe it's time for Alex Grinch to go. Maybe it's past time, but USC gets it done. And lastly, at number 25, you got the Kansas State Wildcats, who have made a change at quarterback, went from Will Howard to Avery Johnson, and it seemed to have ignited a spark in the team, and they found new life. Their running game's going. They're shutting out their last 2 opponents. Kansas State sitting there with 1 loss in Big 12 play, got a date with Texas next weekend, and they're still in the race for the Big 12. Everything's open, and it seems like Kansas State has finally found their rhythm again. But that was this week's AP Top 25 poll for Week 10, the last week that this poll will really matter to some people because CFP rankings come out soon. But tell me what you think down in the comments below. If they got it right, if they got it wrong, just tell me your overall thoughts. But more importantly, please, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video out on social media. Share it out to your friends, to your family, to your loved ones, because it really helps the algorithm. We'll make sure I keep creating great content to you, my fans out there. But until then, this has been Sports Talk with Austin. Keep it tight, everybody, and go Cards. Peace.